is turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, the Sports Bash NFL preview show presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years. And it is getting a little warm in here, but it's not because of any kind of like air conditioning or heating service. I'll get to that in a little bit. But Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by the great people at the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, and those great people led by Gus. We'll talk more about that as we go along. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. Coming up soon in November is the Marty Lyons Foundation Annual Gala. I believe it's on November 4th. We'll double check that because I forgot to type it in here to the script. But in any event, for more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Happy Football New Year, NFL-wise, to everybody. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to the program and our 2025 NFL preview special here on the Governor's Comedy Club podcast, YouTube, and Facebook pages. A very special program coming up on the show. We are going to talk to former Jets tight end and their current radio analyst on Q1043, who does the games with Bob Wischusen. Anthony Beck, the good friend of the program, is going to come on the program in a little bit. We're also going to talk to another friend of the show. In fact, and I've talked about this on the program before, we used to do this show at LI News Radio out at MacArthur Airport, way out east. Well, not so way out east, but yeah, far enough out east that from here, it's way out east. But there was one time, if you remember, we did a trial show here. Like Vinny Tickett said, let's do a trial show at Governor's Comedy Club. I've done some things with them before. And we came here that night, and Charles Davis was a guest on the show. And I remember walking out of here, and I don't think it was Charles, I think it was more Tony and his wonderful demeanor and how welcoming he was to us here, where I said to Vinny, like, we have to move the show to Governor's Comedy Club. It's great there. I mean, we have to go through the probationary period of not using the bathroom for a year, but you know what? Good things come to those who wait. It's been almost a year. We now have bathroom privileges here at Governor's Comedy Club. But Charles Davis from NFL on CBS and NFL Network, he's going to be on the show a little bit later on. So we're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk about the Giants. We'll talk about everything NFL. Connor Calba, our social media coordinator, is here. He's got a microphone. He's got a headset. We're going to get his thoughts on his beloved Denver Broncos a little bit later on in the show. And we're going to have a special Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We are also going to have a special tailgating section very near the end of the show, courtesy of our friends at the Embassy Diner. And they have brought to us a wide array of delicacies, whether you are watching the game at home, whether you're going to a family or a friend's house, or if you are going to MetLife Stadium to see the Jets or the Giants or wherever. We have some ideas for you for tailgating, courtesy of the Embassy Diner. And boy, we're going to eat pretty good tonight, all three of us here. Tony, myself, and Connor and my family. I don't know if Connor's going to share it with anybody. No, he's shaking his head no. But we've got some delicacies that we're going to show you that you could get at the Embassy Diner. You just have to put the order in with Gus in advance, and he'll take care of you. If you're going to the Jets-Steelers game on Sunday, you can just place the order, pick it up, and great, you don't have to worry about barbecuing or anything like that. Well, you have to warm it up, so I guess you would have to bring some sort of heating appliance. I don't know what you can bring. That's not a barbecue, but you know what? It's pretty hot. It still is. I mean, I'm feeling the packages. Connor, that side of it's still hot. Yeah, so it'll stay hot for a while. If you don't mind semi-warm, buffalo wings or whatever, just bring them out to New Jersey with you. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Obviously, the NFL season starts tomorrow night with the Eagles hosting the Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field, and the Eagles are going to raise their championship banner against the hated Cowboys. And I think they averted a traffic nightmare at the Link. I don't know if you heard about this, but SEPTA, which is the mass transit company in Philadelphia, and I'm a little bit aware of it because I did have to use it when visiting my brother-in-law a few years ago in Philadelphia. Me and Bradley went to the Islanders-Flyers game, and we had to use SEPTA to get from where my brother-in-law lives to the arena, which now has a new name. All these arenas all have new names every few years. I think it's Xfinity Live now, or whatever it is, but they have a new name for the arena. So there was apparently a limited service that was going to be available tomorrow night for the game. And apparently FanDuel got involved. I don't know if they shelled out money or they made it clear that this is not a good thing. I didn't read the whole story, but FanDuel got involved, and now I think everybody will be able to take their mass transportation to the Link tomorrow night in Philadelphia to see the championship banner go up and to see the Eagles take on the Cowboys. Now, tomorrow, this is still a very, very sore subject with me. No, not the Jets. We'll get to the Jets in just a second. But you know how much, if you watch the show and you've heard me on FAN and you see me on social media, you know my disdain for international games. And I just can't stand it. And it's not getting any less. It's going to get more because Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, was on the Today Show this morning. And I don't know if you caught that, but they're hoping at some point to get 16 international games in the season. I'll have a stroke if that happens. Now, it's bad enough, again, that the Jets are playing a game in London for the second straight year this year. I can't stand it. And here's why I can't stand it. I can't stand it because we're giving England and Brazil, and that's the game tomorrow night. I'm sorry, on Friday night. The Chiefs are playing the Chargers in Brazil. So we're giving England, London, we're giving Brazil, we're giving Germany, we are giving them real NFL games. Now, I know we're giving them a lot of Jaguars, right? That's not, I know, not a big deal. But we're giving them 7 real NFL games this year. And Roger Goodell wants it to get to 16. But when the Premier League teams, the soccer teams, come over from Europe for their summer tour here in the United States, they bring their B team and their C team with them for these friendlies. So, like, you could, it's great. Go to MetLife Stadium and see Manchester United take on Liverpool, but you may not see the star players until, the second half, where they come on with like 15 or 20 minutes to go. So my feeling is, if we're going to give London and Germany and Brazil real regular season NFL games, no matter how crappy the teams that are involved are, then why can't we get a real Premier League game over here? One at MetLife Stadium, one middle of the country, let's say it's Chicago, Soldier Field, or where the Cowboys play, AT&T Stadium, and we put one out west at SoFi, or the Rose Bowl, or something like that. Give us a nibble of what it's like to go to a real Premier League game, and then I'll be okay with siphoning off some NFL regular season games to overseas. And the other sports are doing it too. Baseball's doing it. Basketball does a lot of it. Hockey does it too. I can't stand it. Bring us some real European soccer games here, and I'll be fine with you guys taking a few of our NFL games. That brings us to the reason why we wanted to do this NFL special today. And you've heard me here on the show, and I can speak as a Jets fan. I was very excited for this season. I really was. And here's why. People are like, how could you be excited as a Jets fan? Because God knows there's not much excitement when you're a Jets fan. I get it. But the last 2 years with Aaron Rodgers, hopes were high, right? They get Aaron Rodgers. He chooses to come here and be the savior to get the Jets back to the playoffs and maybe win a Super Bowl. He gets injured 4 plays into the season 2 seasons ago. He comes back from the Achilles injury. He comes back last year, and the Jets only win 5 games. However, Aaron Rodgers put up one of the best statistical seasons in the history of the Jets franchise. Now, again, we're not setting the quarterback bar very high when it comes to the Jets history. I mean, we got Joe Willie. Richard Todd had a couple of good years. Ken O'Brien had a couple of good years. Vinny, Chad. Intermittently, you had some decent years by Jets quarterbacks. But if go back and look at it, because people look at me like I have 5 heads when I said this, and that's why I wanted Aaron Rodgers back. The numbers he put up last year, one of the best statistical seasons in the history of the team. I wanted him back. Now, I understand Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted to change the culture, so they did not bring Aaron Rodgers back. And it'll start the Justin Fields era on Sunday, and I get it. But I wanted him back. But the whole factor of not having Aaron Rodgers and there being no expectations of the Jets this year made me excited, kind of. Because if you set the bar low, how could you be disappointed? How? If you don't think you're going to be any good, or you think, you know what, I believe in this regime, which I do. I like the new GM. I like Aaron Glenn as head coach. I like some of the pieces the Jets have. But if you think this is going to be a transition year, and maybe Justin Fields is just a holding pattern for whoever the Jets are going to draft as far as a quarterback is concerned somewhere down the road, then I'm fine with it. Because I think 5 or 6 wins, even 7 maybe if we're lucky, puts the Jets in the right trajectory, in the right direction. But man, oh man, being a Jets fan is hard. It really is. I know there's sports teams in all the leagues where the fans will say it's the worst being a fan of this team or that team. And I am telling you, there is nothing worse than being a Jet fan. It really isn't. Which is why I've been drinking all day. I got this bottle of Jets wine because I woke up this morning really happy. That's good. I woke up happy today. I woke up this morning, watched a little TV with my wife, went about our business. She went to her office. I went into mine. And I'm like, this is going to be a great day. I'm doing a Sports Bash NFL preview. I'm going to see Connor Calv for the first time in a while. I'm going to see Tony 3 days in a row. Well, yeah. And I'm excited because, like I said, there's no pressure on the Jets. I'm excited to watch the game at home on Sunday against the Steelers. Sure, we're going to have a nice spread at home. No lines for the bathroom in our house, right? Unlike going to MetLife Stadium. And sitting down. I'm getting ready for the show, doing some work, texting with Connor a little bit. This is what we're going to do today. And then the news came. Elijah Vera Tucker has an undisclosed injury, which we now believe is an arm, a biceps injury, may need surgery, and is out for the season. And this is his third major injury, second bicep injury, season ending, potentially, in the last 4 years. A poor guy, fragile. But the point being is that it, as Kermit the Frog, the great philosopher, has always said, it ain't easy being green, unless you're a Packers fan or an Eagles fan. As far as football is concerned, yeah, Celtic fans, oh, we're green. Okay, but I'm not talking about basketball. By the way, I need another drink. It is really tough being a Jet fan. Oh my God, that's good. It just sucks. It really does. And I have myself to blame, but I have to blame my father, may he rest in peace, a little bit. And for those who have heard this story before, I apologize, but with another, it just nothing goes right for the Jets. Nothing. After going to the AFC Championship game in 1998, they blow the second half lead. Shut up over there, Connor. To the Broncos. I thought the Jets were going to the Super Bowl. They didn't. And then opening day the next year, Vinny Testaverde ruptures the Achilles tendon. Not even touched. Excuse me. Not even touched. Jets were supposed to go to the Super Bowl that year. And it didn't work out. But here's how it all happened for me. My father, may he rest in peace, and I miss him dearly, but he is right now up in heaven. He is laughing his ass off at me because my father was as diehard of a Giants fan as you could imagine. If you slit his wrist, it would have bled blue. That's how much of a Giant fan. My father took me to Yankee Stadium. I begged, I wanted to go to a Yankees-Red Sox game in September. September of, I don't know what year it was, 78, 79, somewhere around there. And we're leaving our apartment in Forest Hills, and my dad is bringing this little television that he had. It wasn't those little Sony Watchmans yet, but like a real, portable television set. I said, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, it's the Giants opener today. But we're going to the Yankee game. He goes, no, I want to watch the Giant game. So my father, I love him, miss him so much, may he rest in peace, takes me to the Yankee game in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, and he's sitting there with this TV on his lap, watching the Giant game. A few years before that, it's 1977, December of 77. I have never in my life been to an NFL game before. Now, as you know, Giant tickets are at the time, also very, very difficult to get. The Giants had just moved to Giant Stadium. They played at Yankee. My dad went to see games at Yankee Stadium all the time. They became nomads for a couple of years and then moved into brand new Giant Stadium. So it was very, very difficult to get Giants tickets. So my dad said, how would you like to go to an NFL game? I said, sure, because we're going to go to the Jet game on Sunday. Jets and Bills, December 1977. And I'm telling you, it was flipping cold. That I got so sick at that game that I couldn't go to school the next day. That's how sick I got. Sitting in the field box seats. But the story here is that there was something about the Jets, Shea Stadium, the cold, the green, the mud, the wind, that I became a Jets fan. I defied my father. Excuse me a second. I defied my father. And I said, I'm going to be a Jets fan. How stupid was I? But my father can't go without blame because he should have really gone all out to try and get me to a Giant game first. Now, I will tell you, my first NHL game was a Rangers game. But for whatever reason, the Rangers in Madison Square Garden didn't resonate with me. I was watching Islander games on Channel 9. I liked the blue and orange. I became an Islanders fan. But that December day at freezing cold Shea Stadium, I became a Jet fan. And I know my father is laughing his ass off at me. Because this crap, like Elijah Vera Tucker, only happens to the Jets. I'm all happy. I got this brand new Jet hat a couple weeks ago. My wife got me this brand new Jets t-shirt. I put it on this morning. I'm all happy. And then what happens? Another freaking kick in the nuts. Have you ever seen that video of guys that they're like feats of strength and they hit each other in the nuts with a brick? Have you seen that GIF? Is it a GIF or a GIF?
Yes.
It's GIF, right?
Sure.
GIF, whatever it is. Like, that's my mood today. Like, it's just another kick in the nuts being a Jet fan. But you press on. You always have a bottle in front of you. And you have to deal with it. Because I was having a good football week. I really was. Bradley played his first game for Post University on Saturday, Division II, first game he played at the Division II level, and they kicked ass 51-14 over West Virginia Wesleyan. So we had that going on Saturday. And now the countdown is on to the Jets against the Steelers on Sunday at MetLife Stadium, and I get hit with that news today. What are you supposed to do? It ain't easy being green. Now, I know for Giant fans, some of you will say, well, not exactly, great times over here. Well, had I followed my father, I'd have 4 Super Bowls right now. I got 1, and I was a year and a half old in my high chair when Joe Willie was going like this. I got 1. I don't even remember it. I had to watch a freaking DVD to believe that it even happened. And I show it to my kids like an idiot. They really did win. They really did win a Super Bowl. And just over and over again, the injuries. 2 years ago, Aaron Rodgers with the Achilles, and going to back-to-back AFC championship games, and falling flat on your faces, and going to Miami in '82 in the championship game, and just the freaking Mud Bowl. Everything wrong happens to this team. But I still love them for whatever reason. People telling me, oh, maybe you shouldn't root for them anymore. No. Still go. Still watch the games. Still going to go to 1 or 2. I can't get away from it. But that's what you have this for. So, when we come back on the show, we'll talk more about my beloved Jets with Anthony Becht, former Jets tight end, current Jets radio analyst. He will join us over the phone. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff with him. Lots more to come. I've got this bottle to finish up and some food to eat a little bit later on. We'll get to that in a little bit. More Sports Bash NFL preview show coming up right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer. You are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Second down and 8 at the 13-yard line. Pennington is 10 of 15, 103 yards. Picking and poking, and occasionally going downfield. Swings it out to the outside here, and that's caught by Anthony Beck, who waltzes in to the end zone for a touchdown. 13 yards to the tight end.
Welcome back to the Sports Bash NFL Preview Show presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. I'm Peter Schwartz. The Jets are getting set to start their season Sunday against the Steelers at MetLife Stadium, and we came back with one of the great moments in Jets history, and that was the 2004 playoff game in San Diego, and you saw Chad Pennington throw a touchdown pass to my first guest here on the show. Was a Jets tight end, a first-round draft pick, and now they're radio analyst on Q104.3, working with Bob Wischusen. He's Anthony Beck. Anthony, it's Peter. How are you, my friend?
All is good, Peter. It's good to be on.
Thank you for coming on. We came back from the break. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but we played the touchdown pass that you caught in the 2004 playoff game in San Diego. That little dump off from Chad Pennington, and you were like wide open walking in the end zone. And what's your memory of that?
No, I mean, that was such a huge game. I mean, obviously for us, we felt like we were one of the hotter teams in the playoffs that year, and we weren't able to get it done the following week. But I feel like it's just a great memory, obviously, for me as a player, with Chad, a culmination of just kind of, where that team was at that time, building something. And again, this is kind of, as we fast forward to current Jets, we're trying to get back to that same spot. So, really excited about what this opportunity, with new staff, new GM, new players, everything, new systems. We've seen this obviously in the past, and hopefully we have a lot better success with this opportunity.
I hope so, too, and we'll get to the overall picture of the Jets in just a moment, but obviously I have to start with you with the big news of the day, and that is the another injury for Elijah Vera-Tucker, the Jets' starting guard, and I guess he's going to get a second opinion on the biceps injury. But if he is out for the season, obviously it has a huge effect on the Jets' offensive line, which seemed to be coming together as training camp in the preseason went on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge loss, obviously, and we'll see what the doctors say. I mean, obviously, anytime it's a tricep or whatever that nature is, those are very difficult to play through, and then that does kind of wrap your season up. But at the same token, that's why they went out and they got, a starting center, quite frankly, that can come in and the diversity of Tittman. These are the reasons why you stock your team up in your roster. So yeah, is it a big loss? It is, but when you have a quarterback that's very obviously has the ability to move around and run, and then you have that mixed in with a really good backfield, your offensive line doesn't have to be superior, right? So you're going to have starting caliber players that are still available, and the Jets are fortunate to have that in their position that they're in. But yeah, there's no question it's a huge loss. Yeah,
with Josh Myers is the player you're referring to. He'll probably slide in at center, and Joe Tittman, who has played guard already, will move over and play guard. I would imagine that would be the case if AVT is out for a long time. Let's get to the new regime, new general manager Darren Muji, and Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, who is a former teammate of yours with the Jets. What were your thoughts when this new regime took over, and how excited are you for what lies ahead with them?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, you're talking about a head coach now with the Jets that's been there and done that, been through an organizational really cleanup and upheaval in Detroit, where they built something and year one over there with that staff there, it was rough. I mean, but they really turned that around, and he knows what that looks like. And then obviously the coaches and the people that have mentored him and who he's been around. I mean, clearly he comes in, and the one thing you can tell is that the culture is definitely going to get changed. There's no question about that. The one caveat that obviously is the most important, Peter, is winning football games and winning culture and getting that to be a familiarity with the players in the locker room and really top to bottom and organizationally, which he's mentioned multiple times. And, it's a great start. I mean, obviously the NFL always, kicks off the season with something great. You get to go against the Steelers, who just happen to have, Aaron Rodgers. So it's a great storyline. And it's really a team that, you're talking about the toughness that you're trying to mold within the Jets and really changing that mindset. Well, who know better to play against than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who kind of emulate that in their history. So I think it's a great matchup. I really do. I think this is a very close game. I think it's two teams that will come out and play physical on both sides of the football. And I'm really interested to see how both quarterbacks, quite honestly, play in this football game and what Justin Fields looks in this offense now, where it's catered and it's game planned for a game.
What's interesting, we're talking to Anthony Beck, Jets radio analyst and former Jets tight end here on the Sports Bash NFL Preview Show. For the most part, in his press conferences so far, Aaron Glenn has been a little bit combative with the Jet beat reporters, but he was actually refreshingly honest yesterday. I was watching it yesterday when he was asked the question about the Jets defense practicing against Aaron Rodgers in practice last year and if that gave the Jets a little bit of an edge. And he actually was refreshingly candid and said, yes, it probably helps a little bit. Do you buy that also? Do you think the Jets defense comes into this game a little bit more prepared because they played against Aaron Rodgers in practice last year?
I mean, just from my eyes alone, internally when you have a player that was there for 2 years and you watched him play and in the entire season last year, the way he functions in practice, I think, there's no blind eye to know. I mean, just watching him last year, I mean, he is one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks that ever played the game, but he's not the same guy in his prime. He's a guy that's going to be able to throw the football down the field and put it accurately to receivers that can make big plays. And with Metcalf, a guy that, you really don't have to put it on him, you just got to get it near him. There is there's a worrisome aspect there because he is a very good quarterback in doing those things. The one thing or a couple things that in his game that's not the same is his mobility, his ability to be athletic, and really his, I would say, I don't want to say panicked, but in the blitzing and the pressures that we saw him go against last year as a Jet quarterback, those were moments where he did not come up big. And you look at this new defense and what Steve Wilkes is trying to accomplish, I think we're going to see a lot more pressures and a lot more, get in his face type of stuff because, he's just not the same guy. And I think there is probably in his mind, like, can I get this done? Can I still do it? And he's got a brand new system for the first time in his career that he's got to learn and acclimate to. So again, all those things to me lead to, okay, is this going to come out firing on all cylinders on the first game? I would lean on the high side of no. So what do you have to take away from him? And it's those opportunities when he puts the ball up, his ball placement, and really eliminating those big plays down the field that, he's made all along in his career.
Got to ask you about the Jets' new tight end, and a thing or two about being a tight end from your career, and that's a Jets draft pick who is the son of a former Dolphin and Jet, Jason Taylor. I'm talking about Mason Taylor, who really opened up a lot of eyes in training camp and in some of the preseason games. How impressed have you been with Mason Taylor, and can he be a big part of the Jets' offense this year?
Well, clearly, with his legacy of coming, being Jason Taylor's son, you see there's a maturity and a professionalism that really sets him apart from other rookies across the league, quite frankly, over the last couple of years. When you watch him in practice, he knows how to work. You don't have to tell him, many things twice. He's very coachable, and he's very talented all-around tight end. Is he going to have his ups and downs as a rookie? Absolutely. Is there any guarantees of what he'll bring to the table? I will say this, that, he's got a proven track record in college. He's been playing in front of close to 100,000 fans every single week for the last couple of years at LSU. The moment won't be very big for him. But again, acclimating to blocking the physicality and the type of players he's going to have to see on a week-to-week basis in the NFL is much different than he's blocked before. And obviously from a playmaker standpoint, catching the football, he's got great hands. He's got a knack for finding open space, and he's very athletic. So I would say this, in the history of just tight ends in general, the one thing you have to do, especially when you draft tight ends high, very similar to myself or maybe a Jason Witten, is you got to force feed these guys the ball. You got to find them. You got to get them acclimated in the offense. You got to get them confidence. Nothing's better for rookies than giving them confidence. And I feel like he's a guy that if you do that early on, he is really going to take off and run with it. So let's see how they use him this week, or really the first. You got to really think about the first 4 games, right? Yeah. The first kind of quarter of the season. But I would expect him, bearing health, just week to week, getting better and better, and hopefully they are strategic in finding ways getting him the football. Really excited about him.
Now, the guy that's going to be getting him the football for the most part will be the new Jets quarterback, Justin Fields. And I don't know how you felt about this, Anthony, but when the Jets decided not to bring Aaron Rodgers back, and you look at what was out there, I was very intrigued by Justin Fields. And I know he hasn't had the greatest first 3 years or so in the NFL, but man, I can't remember the last time the Jets had a quarterback that had the ability to run like he did. And he did have a pretty good completion percentage for the Steelers last year, and he won some games. So when you look at him, is it unfair to judge him on the first 3 years or what he could possibly do with this Jets offense?
Well, I don't think it's unfair because obviously you've kind of seen where he's gone. I think you got to add in, though, multiple coordinators, bad teams, dealing with all the hoopla last year about being the guy, and then Russell coming in, and all of a sudden you have a really winning record, and then you play the Jets and they pull you, and then you're done for the year with a winning record. So I think stability and confidence is something that he needs. They've given him the confidence clearly because, since day one he's been here, they've assured him that, look, you're the guy. We believe in you, and we want you to take us to that next level. Now, he's got a skill set, like you talked about, that is really superior and elite within the league, and that's his legs. What the issue is the growth in the passing game, and I truly believe he's a much better passer than he was year 1, year 2, and now entering his 3rd year, or his 4th year. So when you look at him, I would expect improvement. I think the biggest thing is how Tanner Engerstrand, who comes from Detroit, who learned an offense, who's running a system verbatim to what Ben Johnson did with his tweaks and his wrinkles, he's got a different style quarterback. He doesn't have Jared Goff. So how do you blend in the strengths of what Justin Fields has to make this a successful offense around him? So, that's the question we have to see week to week. We haven't been able to see that, quite frankly, at all in preseason because you're very limited on what you try to do. So I got a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to make a lot of plays, but I do have to see, and we all have to see him really just take the next steps as a passer. And I think if the running game is where I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be very high level, I think it'll be top 7-5 in the league, that's where you have to start with. And yeah, everybody's going to know that. But when you start doing those things and you start, adding those things into the equation, now the passing game should be a little bit easier as far as what you're trying to accomplish, as far as the looks that you're trying to get. And he's always going to be able to bail you out with his legs. So they know that. He knows that. It's just for him to understand and go out there and listen. He doesn't have to do it all because they got players and they got running backs and they got a good offensive line and they got a really good defense. So, again, let's see how they build it. Let's see how it goes. I think this is a really good matchup to go against the Steelers because they're very common in their thought process on what they're trying to do.
I would agree with that. A couple more questions for Anthony Beck, Jets radio analyst and former Jets tight end. It's funny, when you're a radio analyst for football, or really for any sport, a lot of times it's a former player, or it's a former coach, and you always, a lot of times you hear things come out of the mouth of the analyst that makes makes that person think that maybe the person's trying to be a head coach, maybe he was a coach. In your case, you are a head coach in the NFL offseason with the St. Louis Battlehawks in the United Football League, and you've had a couple of really good seasons with the Battlehawks. How much fun has it been for you to be a head coach? I know it was something that you always wanted to do.
It's been incredible. It's been an awesome learning experience. Very humbled that, I was given the opportunity to become a head coach. My resume may not speak as loudly as many, many, many coaches that are out there that rightfully probably deserved an opportunity in the job too. But me understanding that, that's a big part of like what I kind of owe the UFL, the league, my team, and other coaches that I go out there and do it the right way. So you're right. It's been a great journey for me. I'm very locked into being a head coach and continuing to enhance my coaching career. Right now I'm just trying to be the very best head coach I can It's been a very successful 3 years for me right now. We've won close to 75% of our games, and we've been very close the last 2 years, getting to the championship game. And we've been developing a lot of players, over 20 to 30 guys we've put into training camps. Guys are in the league now. We have guys this year. Very proud of that. And that's why I got in this. I got a lot of knowledge and a lot of just information to give and nurture to players that are really on the cusp of getting there. And then we'll see where that leads, Peter, down the road. But really excited about what I'm doing now and really being a part of the Jets as well. In the meantime, until I get that next opportunity in calling Jet games and giving that perspective as a player, as a coach, and someone that kind of, I've also called games for 10 years. So I got a lot of perspective on watching football games from afar and just trying to give the experience and Jet fans every Sunday a unique opportunity to hear and give some great content.
I think we need a spring football team in New York again. So maybe Anthony, could you put in a good word with The Rock and Danny Garcia and all those people and see if maybe we can bring the Guardians or the Generals back? Some team to come play here in the spring.
Well, yeah, Mike Rapoli, who I believe is from the New York area, just came on as a huge investor with our team. With the UFL. So he's got a lot to say now. So I mean, again, you guys push him hard enough. He's been very vocal on social media, trying to get where should we go next. So hey, maybe New York's in line. If
I'm going to get him on the show, Anthony. I want to get him on the show, and I'm going to plead our case.
There you go. That's that. I'll tell you, he's been very responsive. So. I hope he comes on, and hey, you get to sell what you want.
and let me close with this, Anthony. There's nothing better when you're a parent to see your child do well in life also. And I know we can both speak from experience of having a son playing football, that it's awesome to see them get to as high a level as possible. And for your son, Rocco, a quarterback with Iowa State and off to a 2-0 start, I can't imagine how incredibly proud you are of Rocco, just like I am of Bradley and what he's accomplished in college football so far. But for you and Rocco, and you went to Ireland to go see. I'm sorry, not to. You went to Paris, I think it was. To go
Ireland. No, you're right.
No, it was Ireland.
Yep.
I thought it was Ireland. I was right the first time. I don't know. I'm just still trying to get this AVT news out of my head. But I can't imagine how incredibly proud you are of Rocco's accomplishments so far.
Oh man, just it's been an incredible journey to watch him kind of carve out, his legacy and what he's doing. And man, he has taken it to the levels I would never have expected. Peter, obviously, I played at the highest levels, drafted in the first round, played 12 years in the NFL. To think that my son would ever duplicate anything that I'd ever done, I would say, hell no, that's not the goal. The goal is to help support him in anything he's done. At this point in his career, he has actually blown by anything I've ever accomplished where he is in college right now. So I'm just grateful that, listen, it's not easy playing quarterback. And he has just, taken on this role and this opportunity and ran with it. It's been fun for me to watch him. And, like you said, it's his third year starting. It's a big game this week against Iowa. There's a lot of buzz around the game and just really excited about it. But man, it's been special. I mean, he's a good player, man. Yeah. I'll tell you,
I love watching him play too.
Yeah, he definitely, every single week, man, it's just like, wow, like this kid is really doing it. So, it's a blessing for him, and I wish him nothing but the best, man. But I've been absolutely proud as ever to watch him go do his thing.
Anthony, my friend, thank you so much for spending a few minutes, as always, here on the show. Looking forward to seeing you at MetLife this season.
You got it. Okay, Peter, thanks for having me.
Thanks. Anthony Becht, former Jets tight end and current Jets radio analyst, joining us here on the show. Tony, I'm going to bypass the commercial break. I'm just going to read this. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. And we're going to bypass the commercial break because our next guest is ready to go, and I don't want to keep another friend of mine waiting because he has been too good of a friend to the show over the last couple of years, and we want to get right to him. And I got to know him during my time in the Arena Football League, and he has gone on to a great broadcasting career, now an NFL analyst for the NFL on CBS and also for NFL Network. We welcome back to the show my friend Charles Davis. Charles, it's Peter. How are you?
I'm great, Peter. It's good to hear your voice again. And I was fortunate enough to hop on and catch the tail end of your great talk with Anthony Becht. And, you know, for people listening, and I love the points you guys were making about how much pride you have and how much fun it is to watch your sons chase their dreams and have some success and be able to do all those things, but being able to do it without you guys having a heavy hand on it. You know, I know Anthony coached Rocco. I think he was his offensive coordinator in high school, but that match worked out very well for them. It was coordinated, it was synchronized, the whole deal. But he said it so well at the end. You want what's best for your kid. You want your kid to chase their dreams, not because they're chasing you or anything like that, but because they're doing it on their own. And I got a chance to meet Rocco a few times along the way. Met him in the summers at the Manning Passing Academy. Not only is he a heck of a football player, because he's one tough son of a gun.
Yeah.
Who can throw it, who can move it, the whole deal. What was he, 19 of 20 last week?
Yes.
The okay, they've got the big Cy-Hawk game coming up with Iowa, which we know traditionally plays some of the best defense in the country under Phil Parker. It's going to be one of the games of the week around the country. People are going to zero in on that. But what I wanted to say was having a chance to spend time with Rocco over the last few years. Not a ton, but you know what it's like, Peter, in draft time. We observe kids when they think they're not being observed. That's when you find out a lot about a youngster, right? Anthony, his wife, rest of the family, everyone, coaches who had a hand in Rocco's development, they should all take a bow because he's an exceptional young man.
And wasn't there a long snapper drafted this year? Does that give hope to Bradley somewhere down the road?
Absolutely. Listen, the team is doing that, you know, and look, when you hit it and you hit it right, and now a GM has no worries about that position for the next 10 to 15 years, unforeseen injury. All I can tell you, Peter, is 2-3 seasons ago, season opener, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Joe Burrow throws 4 picks, including a pick 6. But the reason Cincinnati lost the game was their long snapper got hurt. Backup long snapper screwed up a couple of snaps, and Pittsburgh got out of there with a win in a game that, even though they threw 4 picks, Cincinnati outplayed them. But the long snapper being hurt changed the mechanics, the timing. They had a missed field goal, they had a blocked field goal. You know, it just screwed up everything. That's how important it is. So when you get a Morgan Cox, when you get a Luke Rhodes, you get those guys, GMs are just like, keep them. JJ Jansen, who's still going, he's probably on like his 50th year long snapping.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So yes,
Yeah.
there's a reason guys get drafted at times, to fill that need so they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, it would be awesome if it happens, but we didn't have you on to talk about long snapping or anything like that. We want to talk about the NFL season that is one day away. And I know, you know, for you as a football junkie, and you spend your Saturdays watching college football, and now you're spending your Sundays at NFL games, doing the games for CBS. How excited are you for the start of the season? I know it's always great first day. It's first day of school, first day of summer camp, first day of this, first day of that. First day of the NFL season is tomorrow. How is Charles Davis feeling?
Yeah, you know, about a week ago, I was like, I could use another month. I'm good. I don't want to dive into it, but you know how it goes, Peter. The closer it gets, the more the blood pumps and everybody gets excited, and we're all, you know, going to be tuned in for tomorrow night. I mean, they're going to be putting the banner up in at the link, right? You know, they've had the ring ceremony this summer. We've seen that, you know, their rings actually fly, for God's sake. It's off the charts. And now Dallas, with the Parsons deal, with the Cowboys documentary out this summer, a franchise that needed no extra attention is now going to get it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get extra attention, extra scrutiny, because if Dallas ends up having a rough year, boy, oh boy, we're going to trace all of this. And I'm glad you got 2 first-round picks, but you lost a guy who's going to be an all-pro for the next probably 8 to 10 years. So we got to see how this balances, and can Dallas absorb it enough to have a season that puts them in playoff contention. We're all going to be tuned in to watch.
As long as you brought up Michael Parsons, obviously that trade brought about so much controversy and a lot of different layers to it as well. And I guess that one of the maybe more under talked about components of that is Jerry Jones not only being the owner, but being the GM and kind of sidestepping the CBA and trying to negotiate with Micah Parsons. So I guess in a strange way, could this Micah Parsons situation lead to them tightening up the CBA and making sure that, hey, look, the players need to have their agents negotiating with the teams and not the owner going directly to the player?
I would think the NFLPA is going to do a great job on that. I'd be surprised whether you have an interim director in or not. The players themselves are going to be clamoring, hey. And you know who else is going to do a great job? It's going to be all the players' agents.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what, guys? I'm the agent of record. You signed a deal with me. There are no handshake agreements. I don't care if the handshake is, I don't do contracts. But this here, all right, now I'm doing Jerry Maguire. And remember, in Jerry Maguire, it wasn't stronger than Oak.
No.
He did the handshake with Jerry, and he cut the deal with Bob Sugar. So let's not get the whole thing twisted, right? Old school, you get handshake, your word, we get it, I get all that. But the NFLPA will be all over this one. The agents themselves will be all over this one. The league, they're going to do all their due diligence, but they won't have to do much on this one. This will come from the other side and say, hey. Just remember, they're going to try and get you that way. That's not how this works.
We're talking to the great Charles Davis from the NFL on CBS and also the NFL Network. He joins us here on the Sports Bash NFL Preview Show. So let's talk about the contenders for the Super Bowl title this year. Obviously, you got the Eagles looking to repeat. The Chiefs are always in the conversation. A lot of people high on the Bills. Is this finally the year that the Bills break through and win a Super Bowl? Give me your thumbnail sketch on the teams that we will be talking about into January and into February as contenders for the Super Bowl.
Well, let's start in the NFC. I mean, it's Philadelphia, Washington. The Dallas is a question mark for us now because of what we've seen. I think that they're much more, are we talking about them for the playoffs? I'm not thinking Dallas Super Bowl at this point, but that's just me. You get into the North, that season last year was historic. 15-win team, 14-win team, 11-win team. I think they'll still have 3 really good teams, maybe even 4 decent teams, decent to good, but they're not going to win 15, 14, and 11,
Mm-hmm.
all right? That doesn't mean that you don't have good teams coming out of there. Detroit, until further notice, I know Minnesota's starting a young quarterback, but I'm not counting them out at all. He does such a great job, O'Connell does, as a coach, and Brian Flores' defense. We keep waiting for Chicago to bubble up. Peter, how would you like to be Chicago trying to bubble up in that division?
I got my own problems with the Jets, Charles. I don't spend too much time worrying about the Bears.
Yeah, I understand. think about trying to make your way against Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. The way they're playing right now. That's what you're battling through. You go out west. We had 3 teams in the playoffs a couple years ago out there. Is this Arizona's year to finally make the playoffs or sneak away with the division? They were leading the division with 4 games to go last year. They had their chance. Can this be the time? Can San Francisco bounce back? All of those questions. I think probably the one that, to me, is under the radar but has a terrific roster is Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they are really, really good. And I'm just going to tell you now, Peter, would not shock me at all if Tampa Bay is playing in an NFC Championship game.
Oh, I would agree with you. I think they're definitely a dark horse when it comes to this. They have a very good roster.
They really
do. And Baker Mayfield, for all the trouble at the beginning, he has turned out to be a very, very good NFL quarterback.
I think if Cleveland looks back, the year that he played hurt, I feel like they held it against him being a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
And since that time, hadn't gone too well, and they spent a lot of money. Could have had him. All right, that's a whole enough of that. AFC side, you mentioned it. It's the Bills in the East and Chase in the South. I think Houston, last year was the year to get them because they had the joyride the first year.
Yeah.
The second year, they were prepared for a joyride because they were young. They didn't realize it was coming. Pop, 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 pop. And it did. And they got up off of an 8 count and finished 10-7, won the division, won another playoff game. I think that hardened this team. I think they're going to be a tough out in the South. I really do. They've added to the roster. I think C.J. Stroud's 3rd year. I really like Houston. Now let's see if anybody else wants to join the fray out of that division. In that division, and then you got to go out west My goodness. Everybody's ready to come for Kansas City. You know that.
Yep.
I don't think this prediction, I don't think it's a great original thought. They went 15-2 last year, 11-0 in one-score games. That doesn't tend to carry over year after year. But there's still Kansas City. I think they'll have a lesser record and be a better overall football team when it's all said and done.
Charles, you think you're going to get an invite to the big wedding?
Huh?
Are you getting an invite to the big wedding?
You know, there's a tote board at Vegas that has all of our names on it about who will get invited to the wedding. I'm somewhere in the trillions on net.
Really quick.
And I don't think we'll be able to pull off the crash.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Charles, I brought this up on the show last week, and I think it begs to ask you because you have a pretty good head on your shoulders and we could have some fun with this. But I brought up this question on the show last week. If you get invited to that wedding, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, what do you bring as a gift? Like, what could those people possibly need as a wedding gift? What would you bring?
You know, that's a great question. But you know what I think? On their wedding invitation, when you get it, they will specify no gifts.
Yeah, probably.
I think that they will be classy people that will specify no gifts, but you also will darn near have to sign an NDA. Right, to go. Your phone will be locked up. You'll be doing this.
Yeah.
It will probably give you a range of days about when the wedding could take place, and you'll get a phone call, 12 hours before the wedding actually.
Yeah.
I mean, for them to try and do it that way, otherwise, if you announce it and try and secure it, it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes down. But all I know is that it adds to the excitement and the lore of the league. But I will say this, Taylor. I bought 6 tickets to 2 different concerts of yours. That's got to count for at least getting to the reception.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny.
Yeah. So back, just finishing it all off. When it's all said and done and we're looking at the AFC, it's the normal contenders.
Yeah.
Don't count out Kansas City too fast, even though people think they're vulnerable, and I understand it. The Super Bowl made you bold if you're a team. Hey, go get them. Remember, that's Philadelphia's roster that went and got them.
Right.
And how many people have Philadelphia's roster? Denver will run at them. The Chargers will run at them. The Raiders will look like a football team under Pete Carroll and make their charge. I still think Kansas City wins the division when it's said and done, but it won't be at 15-2. That's all. Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore are my top 3 at NFC, and we'll see who comes out of that 3-way fist fight.
Charles, a couple of minutes left with you. I spoke a lot already on the show, the Open, and with Anthony Becht about the Jets. I don't want to forget the Giants because obviously, there's a lot of Giant fans excited here in New York for the season, and Jackson Dart's going to be the number 2 quarterback, and it already starts to beg the question how long will the leash be on Russell Wilson? Will we see Jackson Dart on Sunday in Washington? What are your thoughts on the Giants going into 2025, and how excited should the fans be about what lies ahead?
I just don't understand how one of the original families of the NFL draws this schedule. I know it's a formula. I get it. It's a tongue-in-cheek comment. But their schedule is brutal, like right out of the gate. And in my estimation, as we start right now before the season begins, they will be the underdogs in the first 4 games that they play. The first game that they have a chance of being a favorite is week 5 against New Orleans. And I think their open week, Peter, is like week 13 or 14. That's too late for the idea of, hey, we're going to wait for Jackson Dart, do the open week, and then start him. That's your traditional. That's way too late.
Right.
If they're not winning these games, and by the way, their defense is better than what people think.
Oh, they got a real good defense. Good defense.
So early in the season, you mess around and let their defense impose on you, you could walk out of there going, what just happened here? But if they come out of there, let's say chalk holds, Peter, and somehow they lose the first 4. Okay? Week 5's New Orleans. That might be Jackson Dart time.
Yeah.
Because you've got to figure out when you're going to do it. Because after that, I think it's Philadelphia maybe week 6. And then they play like a short week, and then you have a mini open week. So that would be another time you would look and say, are you going to make a quarterback change? That gives your youngster his best chance. But if they go 0-4, I don't think it goes beyond that he has to go out and play. And you might as well get it done at that point. But that defense is good enough.
Oh, yeah.
Works on somebody that might not be 0-4.
And I gotta get a quick comment for you. Connor Kalb, who is my social media coordinator, does a great job with the clips on the show and sits in. He's here, and he's a huge Denver Broncos fan. So I promised I have to ask the great Charles Davis your thoughts on the Denver Broncos, and you're either going to make Connor very, very happy or very, very sad. So go right ahead.
I thought they were a year ahead of schedule last year, but I don't see them as regressing this year. You know, Minnesota, the year that they won 13 in Kevin O'Connell's rookie year, I predicted regression. I don't think I was alone on that. And they went back to 7-10. But I thought that 7-10 was Kevin O'Connell's best coaching there because it's 5 different quarterbacks.
Right.
He was coaching people on the field. Hey, nice to meet you. You're playing. I mean, it was unbelievable what he did. And then came back and won 14 last year. You got Sean Payton, who got them out ahead of it into the playoffs a year ahead of schedule with a rookie quarterback. That team did nothing but get better in the offseason. And they are bold about the idea of we want to go get Kansas City. Because remember, if Leo Chanel doesn't block that kick last year in Kansas City, Denver beats them at Arrowhead.
Connor's got a big...
Throw out Week 18, though, Connor. Don't chortle about Week 18. Kansas City didn't play anyone. But the one at Arrowhead, you're thinking that was one we could have had and should have had. Now you get your opportunities for them again. They're going. I think they're a playoff team again.
Wow, you've put a big smile. Connor, do you want to thank Charles?
Thank you, Charles. It means a lot.
Listen, I saw them come in with the Jets last year in one of those weird.
Oh, we don't have to bring up that game. No. I've had a tough. No, Charles. I've had a tough enough day. I've been drinking about the AVT injury all day today. So no, we're not talking about that game.
Only reason I bring it up. Who would have thought on a rainy day?
Oh, it rained in my chicken fingers that day, too.
Aaron Rodgers with those hands would have trouble with the ball. I thought that would be advantage Jets. And then when the sun came back out, Bo Nix made big throws. It was a weird day.
Yeah, it was a horrible day. It really was. But it's never horrible having you on the show, and I can't thank you enough as always. And looking forward to you. I know you've got the Dolphins and the Colts on Sunday on the NFL on CBS, and I hope to hear from you soon when you're doing a Jet home game so I can come out to the stadium and say hello, give you a big old Arena Football League hug, and maybe we can do this again during the season.
Sounds great. You keep taking care of yourself, and you and your crew there. Continued success to you guys, and look forward to seeing you. Hopefully we'll see the Jets a few times this year in New York.
You got it. Thanks, Charles. Charles Davis from the NFL on CBS and also NFL Network. It is always great to have him on the program. Well, let me quickly get to a couple of things because I asked for permission and I got it for a few minutes of overtime. The 4th annual, well, first, let me do the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. Who will win the Super Bowl this season? We've got 4 choices: the Eagles, Chiefs, the Bills. Other, comment below. I put this up earlier today. People are clicking other, comment below, and not commenting. And you know how I feel about that. If you're going to click other and comment below, you need to comment. I don't know who you're picking to win the Super Bowl if you don't comment. So you need to comment. The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Gala is on Thursday, November 13th. I was wrong at the beginning. It's Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Tomorrow, a special time of 3 o'clock. I'll be joined by Stony Brook head football coach Billy Kosh here on Sports Bash. The Seawolves play their home opener Saturday against Rhode Island Laval Stadium. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff. Next Tuesday, September 9th, I'll be joined by former Yankees pitcher Jabba Chamberlain. Next Thursday, September 11th, we'll take a special look back at sports in New York and New Jersey on 9/11 and the weeks and months that followed. Just booked today. And Giant fans, I know I spent a lot of time talking about the Jets here on the special, but Carl Banks, legendary Giants linebacker and also a member of the Giants broadcast team on WFAN, will be on the show Tuesday, September 16th. So we are looking forward to that. This day in 2001, I started a brand new job. In fact, I helped launch a brand new radio station, ESPN Radio, at the time 1050. Now they're on 880 AM. And today is the 24th anniversary of the launch of ESPN Radio. And even though I'm currently working at WFAN, I still take a lot of pride in the fact that that I was part of that station at the beginning. And the picture that we were looking at is a picture of me and Paul Dottino, who I also still work with the WFAN. He's part of the Giant broadcast team. Had some great memories at ESPN Radio, so happy anniversary, happy birthday to everybody over at ESPN Radio. Now that brings us to the end of the show, and we have a few minutes to get this in, and I'm very, very excited about it. You know, we're so proud of our partnership with the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, one of the great partners and sponsors that we have. So I had lunch there this afternoon with a friend of mine, and Gus, the owner, comes over, says hello, and I said, you know, we're doing an NFL special tonight on the show. I was wondering, with people tailgating and people getting ready to watch games at home, maybe we can get a couple of things, a couple of little samples for people to think about. And if you want to get a nice spread at home on Sunday to watch the games, or you're going to MetLife for the Jets-Steelers game, and you don't want to do the cooking, you can just bring something to help warm it up or keep it warm on your ride out. Can we get some samples, 2 or 3 things? Well, Gus is the greatest. Tony, can we please take a look at the spread? And there's Connor, also in the picture there. But take a look at what we've got here. We've got a bunch of things, and your son, Tony, already took home a few things. But I'm going to go through a couple of these things right now, and I know that the Calb and the Schwartz families are going to be very, very excited to see what we have here. And these can come in these great containers. You can take them right to. Look at these buffalo wings. Tony, can we get a good shot of these wings? And they come with the ranch and the blue cheese. Absolutely delicious. We've had the wings at the Embassy Diner before, and we're excited to have that tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Connor, you'll have some as well. Yep. There's some wings there. Let me see, what else do we have here? Oh, there's so many cool stuff. Connor, I'm going to have to ask you to help facilitate this. These are fried string beans. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is another great, finger foods are the best for football tailgates, because then it doesn't matter if you get schmutz all over your hands. It's fine. Just wipe it off with a napkin. What do we got down here? Something different here? Oh, we tried this out before. Oh. These are, you won't be able to see inside of them, but these are fried mac and cheese. Oh. Inside these, it's absolutely delicious. Mac and cheese, and again, it's finger food. So it's great for the tailgate party at the stadium or at home. Those mozzarella sticks? No, these are the curly fries. How about this? I know my son Jared loves his curly fries. How about this? Look at the curly fries. Huh? Nice. Oh, by the way, that to show you that Gus leaves no stone unturned, we have a bunch of the sauces over there, and he gave me a bottle of Heinz ketchup too, which is great. These are the mozzarella sticks, right? How about this? Look at this. And it comes with the sauce. Look at this. Great stuff, right? Oh my God, can't wait to dig into that later. Did I miss anything? Oh, the chicken fingers. Aren't there chicken fingers right there? Yeah, chicken fingers right here. How about this? Look at this. Chicken fingers. And there's a whole bunch of French fries over there too. Amazing stuff. I don't think I showed this long enough. Look at that. Tony, you excited?
Yes.
Yes, very excited. I'm going to have to wipe up the table here a little bit. I got some schmutz all over the table, but this is great. Again, these are all things Embassy Diner in Bethpage. Make sure when you go to the Embassy Diner, ask for Gus, and make sure that when you come in there, whether you're taking out or you're eating in, make sure that you always mention Sports Bash so you can get a free dessert. We didn't ask for any dessert. I'm not going to be a chaza. I'm not going to be like a moocher too much. Would ask for the dessert, because if you mention Sports Bash when you go to the Embassy Diner, you get one of their great desserts. It's unbelievable. Look at that wide shot of all that food and some handsome young men who are here in the studio. I think that's it. I'm already 6 minutes over. Oh, speaking of the Embassy Diner, I can't believe I forgot this. Gus is going to kill me. Next Wednesday, September 10th, the night before 9/11. This is going to be great. They're going to do a drone show right outside the Embassy Diner. Dedication to the first responders. So we're taking a look at the flyer for that now. 7 o'clock next Wednesday, September 10th, outside the Embassy Diner in Bethpage. You're going to want to see this. It's good. He told me today it's spectacular. Like hundreds of drones, and they had to get special permission for this. And this is going to be awesome. So if you're in the Levittown, Bethpage, Wantagh area, whatever other towns are around here, Farmingdale, all that stuff, you're going to want to check that out. So that is coming up next Wednesday. And I think that brings to an end one of the more remarkable and memorable editions of Sports Bash in the 72-year history of the show, right? I would think so. Yeah, so we have a lot of people to thank here on the program today. First of all, thanks thanks to our guests here on the show. We spoke to Charles Davis. We had Anthony Beck. A big thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governors. Connor Kalb, our social media coordinator, who is going to be busy for hours tonight cutting up clips of the show. We're going to let him pick something to take home to go to eat. So we're going to do all of that. And tomorrow on the show, don't forget, we've got a great show tomorrow. We're going to talk to the Stony Brook head football coach, Billy Kosh, as Stony Brook plays their home opener on Saturday. We've got a bunch of other football and baseball things to get to on the show tomorrow. Sports Bash is brought to you by TicketBash.com, Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. We're sponsored by the great, fantastic, unbelievable Gus and the Embassy Diner, Coaches Collectibles, and the Marty Lyons Foundation. Thank you, everyone, for watching our NFL preview special. Sports Bash is back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Remember, 3 o'clock special time tomorrow, and then back again on Tuesday of next week. We'll see you tomorrow.